So when I met Puff, I was, blown away. But it took some years to grow into that and accepting someone that just was so excited about being seen.
And Blige is being talked about a lot. She got her start with Diddy. And then I think there's some quotes where she talks about how she saw the devil. And obviously we all know that she's sober now, but she went through some really low times.
The same question all over and over again. I hate that.
So what's the one question that nobody has asked you that you want them to ask?
I don't want them to ask me anything.
Ah.
So don't ask me.
Oh, okay. So you'd rather not do the interview at all?
I'd rather not.
Huh.
Could Mary J. Blige's shocking revelations finally uncover Diddy's darkest secrets at Bad Boy Records? Stick around, because what you're about to hear might just blow your mind. And here's something even more surprising. Why did industry whistleblower Jaguar Wright single out Mary J. Blige while talking about the chilling truths of Bad Boy Records? Her reasons will leave you stunned. Oh, and let's not forget Faith Evans. She described her time at Bad Boy Records as unforgettable. But was it unforgettable because of the legendary music or because of something much darker? There's a lot to unpack here, so let's get started. If you love staying up to date on all the rap industry drama, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. All right, let's get into it.
And it was just things that I was saying that was just already out there that I was confirming. And then when I met up with Puff, it was like he already knew what I...
Because, wow. That's, wow.
Mary, I knew Mary since my first album, Reasonable Doubt. I was nobody guy with a nobody label, and she came through for me.
When I met Puff, I was afraid of success, afraid to do anything that could put so much attention on me. And then when I met him, he was the complete opposite. And he was such a good thing.
How is Faith Evans any different than Lauren London? How? No difference at all.
I got with somebody, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say their names, I'm just gonna say somebody that wanted to do another album with me. So I said, cool, I gave him my price, and the price was, to me, was low. And they were supposed to give me the money. And I go in the studio and I start banging out. So it came to me.
First, let's dig into one of the most fascinating relationships in music, the close bond between Mary J. Blige and Diddy. Is it really all about shared ambition, or is there a more sinister story hiding underneath? Mary has always praised Diddy, calling him her mentor and biggest supporter. In one interview, she talked about how much she admired his drive and industry knowledge, saying she needed what he had to offer. But there's more to this partnership than meets the eye.
So you think he was asked to do something that he didn't want to do?
Yo, obviously, so was Jigga. So was Will Smith. Will Smith was first. Yo, so Diddy's locked up because why? He got the tapes and they don't want the tapes to come up.
Was their connection strictly professional, or was Mary's loyalty rooted in something deeper and maybe darker? Think back to the early 90s. Diddy was making waves at Uptown Records, and Mary was right there with him, creating music history. Her debut album, What's the 411, wasn't just an album, it was a game changer. Together they reshaped R&B forever. But behind the scenes, rumors started swirling. Was their relationship more complicated than it appeared?
The same question all over and over again. I hate that.
So what's the one question that nobody has asked you that you want them to ask?
I don't want them to ask me anything.
Ah.
So don't ask me.
Oh, okay. So you'd rather not do the interview at all?
I'd rather not.
Huh.
All right, here's where things get real interesting. Jaguar Wright has been stirring the pot, and her latest claims have everyone talking. She didn't hold back, pointing directly at Mary J. Blige and suggesting that Mary wasn't just an innocent observer in Diddy's empire. According to Jaguar, Mary might actually know a lot more about the shady business at Bad Boy Records than she's letting on.
Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged.
But wait, there's more. Jaguar didn't stop there. She painted a picture of Bad Boy Records as a place where fear and silence ruled. She even suggested that speaking out against the label came with serious risks. Now here's the big question. Was Mary J. Blige part of the problem, helping to keep other voices quiet? This story just keeps getting juicier. Now let's fast forward to something more recent. Mary was on the cover of People magazine, and both she and Diddy couldn't stop praising their connection. Diddy went all out, calling her one of the greatest storytellers in R&B, and saying she paved the way for women to share their truths. Sounds inspiring, right? But here's the kicker. Doesn't that feel a little ironic given the whispers about bad boys culture? Mary, on her part, has always been vocal about her respect for Diddy. She said he was more than a mentor. He was her biggest fan. She once admitted that Diddy believed in her success even more than she did herself. Can you imagine? An 18-year-old Mary J. Blige, fresh out of Yonkers, stepping into the spotlight as Uptown Records' youngest and first female artist under Andre Harrell. And with Diddy in her corner, she didn't just rise, she soared. Diddy's even referred to Mary as his sister and best friend, calling her a force of nature. But it wasn't always smooth sailing. Mary's confessed that back then, she was scared of success and ambition, feelings Diddy just couldn't relate to. Still, their partnership turned her into the Grammy and Emmy-winning icon we know today. Now, let's take a detour and talk about another major bad boy name, Faith Evans. She's called her time at the label unforgettable, filled with incredible highs. But here's the thing. What about the lows? What isn't being said? Because you know there's always more to the story. Let's take a trip back to 1994 when Faith Evans became part of the Bad Boy family. She stayed with the label until 2004 before branching out to start her own label, Prolific Music Group. And let's not forget her achievements. Her 2005 album, The First Lady, hit #2 on the Billboard 200 charts. Talk about success.
Hey, what's up? It's the First Lady Faith Evans, aka Big 50 from the Bricks, y'all.
In 2017, Faith gave fans The King and I, an emotional album dedicated to her love story with Biggie. This 25-track masterpiece captured everything from their first meeting to his heartbreaking passing in 1997. It was a beautiful tribute to their relationship. Faith once opened up about the pain of losing Biggie. She shared how she and others spent years and significant money hoping the authorities would bring someone to justice. Her words reflected the deep heartbreak and frustration she carried for so long. Now let's talk about Faith's personal life. After Biggie, she moved on and found love again with Todd Rashaw. They had 2 children together, but things eventually fell apart. In 2010, Faith was arrested for a DUI, and her marriage hit the rocks, ending in divorce by 2011. To resolve the charges, she completed a 13-week substance treatment program.
None of this makes sense. What really does make sense is that Diddy has had a long career of using to trap into making them do what he wants to do or using them to move them out the way. How is Faith Evans any different than Lauren London? How? No difference at all.
The news shocked many fans. One music lover, Major Relaford, shared their disbelief, saying they never expected someone like Faith Evans, who always seemed so positive, to face substance-related issues. It was a hard pill to swallow for many who admired her. But wait, this story gets even messier. Some fans and insiders have claimed that Diddy may have been pulling the strings behind the scenes, allegedly controlling Faith and even involving her in darker situations. One fan didn't hold back, suggesting Diddy's rise to the top came at a cost. They pointed to the suspicious demise of people close to him, including his ex-wife, and speculated that he might have done some questionable things to maintain his status. Here's a wild theory. Some fans believe Faith Evans might actually know who's responsible for Biggie's passing, but has stayed silent to protect herself and her kids. Spooky, right? And when Diddy's name started getting dragged into the Biggie case conspiracy, Faith shocked everyone by stepping up to defend him. She firmly stated that Diddy would never harm Biggie, let alone be involved in his demise. According to her, their bond was so strong that it would have been unthinkable. She even pointed out that if her family believed Diddy had anything to do with it, they would have sued him a long time ago, especially since people tried to push them in that direction.
Diddy told her he was going to kill Biggie. She knew it was going to happen. She was purposefully not by her husband's side that night. It happened, and she was told she had to lie about it. It's funny, when you ask Faith how long her and Biggie was together before they got married, the story changes every time. It was 10 days, it was 20 days, it was this days, it was that days. I'm not saying that she didn't develop feelings for him. I'm not saying that she didn't care about the father of her son. I'm saying she was hired for one job. her being involved with Pac in the midst of all of that. But she didn't know Pac was Pac. Diddy has had a long career of using pussy to trap niggas into making them do what he wants to do or using them to move them out the way. How does a woman with that much talent end up married to somebody like Stevie J?
But let's shift gears and talk about something equally fascinating: Mary J. Blige's close friendship with Diddy. On the surface, it doesn't seem to match the dark reputation of Bad Boy Records. The label has faced allegations ranging from financial disputes and artist mistreatment to connections with criminal activity, rumors that often lead straight to Diddy himself.
When I met Puff, I was afraid of success, afraid to do anything that could put so much attention on me. And then when I met him, he was the complete opposite. And he was such a good thing for me.
We're talking about whispers of money laundering and ties to harsh incidents. And Mary, well, some insiders think her loyalty to Diddy wasn't just about appreciation or friendship, it was about survival. Was she helping to cover up crimes to protect her own career? And if so, how deep does this rabbit hole go?
His ambition pushed me to be ambitious because I didn't know how. Because when you come from where I come from, you're scared to be ambitious. You're scared to want more. And so when I met Puff, I was, blown away.
Bad Boy Records' iconic lineup included the notorious Blige, Craig Mack, Faith Evans, Maze, and The Lox, with Diddy at the center of what many describe as a web of manipulation and tragedy. Even Mary J. Blige, though not officially signed, was deeply connected to the crew.
It was just things that I was saying that was just already out there that I was confirming. And then when I met up with Puff, it was like he already knew what I was.
I knew Mary since my first album, Reasonable Doubt. I was nobody guy with a nobody label, and she came through for me.
Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged.
Puff, I was, blown away. But it took some years to grow into that and accepting someone that just was so excited about being seen.
The most devastating blow came with Biggie's assassination, a loss that shook Bad Boy to its core and is often seen as the beginning of the label's decline. According to Diddy's former bodyguard, Biggie didn't trust Diddy, believing he was being used for financial gain, especially after seeing how Craig Mack was treated. Despite his suspicions, Biggie stayed, hoping to reclaim his publishing rights. The bodyguard revealed that during a flight, he found Biggie's contract in Diddy's briefcase, showing large payments while Diddy allegedly kept the publishing royalties. Biggie had been optimistic about a new deal, but behind the scenes, tension brewed.
And what happened was when me and Puff rode on the plane coming back down there, Puff gave me his briefcase.
The tragedy unfolded as Biggie promoted his second album. After leaving a party with Diddy in separate cars, Biggie's car was stopped, and he was fatally shot. The bodyguard claimed this wasn't a random drive-by, but a planned attack, stating, ominously, Pac had to go, Big had to go, or Suge Knight had to go to jail. Something had to give.
I knew that he might have been cash flow broke because he had to be out there doing Puff album to get that money.
You understand? But Big needed him just as much as he needed Big. Big had to play the game because Big wanted to get his publishing back and his marketing that he had sold out to Puff.
Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or Suge Knight go to jail. Something's gotta.
Let's start with the FBI report on Biggie's tragic passing. According to the report, Biggie was in a Chevrolet Suburban when a Chevy SS Impala pulled up at a red light and opened fire. Earlier that night, he had been at a party at the Peterson Automotive Museum. Diddy, who reportedly left shortly after Biggie, was said to be completely intoxicated, leaving the bodyguard to drive him. The bodyguard later told the FBI that their car was behind Biggie's during the shooting. He didn't hold back, claiming it was all a setup. Now let's shift to another heartbreaking Bad Boy story. Craig Mack. Craig was one of Bad Boy's early stars, and his career took off quickly, but just as fast, it took a nosedive. Rumors swirled that his downfall began the moment Diddy discovered Biggie. Some even say that there was an attempt on Craig's life. Craig once vented his frustrations, saying he didn't want to keep working in the studio every night without seeing any money from his efforts.
That's no record. I'm not going to be sitting here going in the studio all night, every night, busting and I ain't seeing nothing.
His words revealed the darker side of the industry, where artists were often left struggling despite their talent. But Craig's struggles weren't just financial. He was constantly mocked for his appearance in hip-hop media. The cruel jokes became unbearable, and Diddy, he didn't do a thing to stop it. Some believe that's because Craig's early success started to overshadow Biggie's, and Diddy wasn't about to let that happen.
But one of the things I want to say is that, you know, when you hear about people being saved, there's like two types of people that are saved. Like, some people get saved and they really, really follow that strict regimen because they know that they can't walk on both sides. You know?
That's Craig Mack.
And so Craig Mack made the decision that he was in the right place, and he didn't need to get pulled back into the industry, even if it was for one night, and I respect that.
The tension between Biggie and Craig was no secret, though neither publicly addressed it. But here's the truth. Craig left Bad Boy because he couldn't stand Diddy's vision of commercialized rap. He was disgusted by the wild parties, heavy drinking, and the way Diddy controlled his artists. Craig's resistance to playing by Diddy's rules ultimately led to his career's downfall.
I got with somebody, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going to say their names, I'm just going to say somebody that wanted to do another album with me. So I said, cool, I gave him my price, and the price was, to me, was low. You know, and they were supposed to give me the money. And I go in the studio and I start banging out. So he came to me and was like, yo, I can only cut you a third of the money I'm supposed to give you. I said, you know what, man, I want to do these songs. Nothing happened, no money. So I stopped recording. I said, I'm not gonna be an idiot and sit here and do all this stuff for everybody, and I'm not gonna see anything from it. Money come, you know, with this bullish mafia mentality with him and his goons and all that stuff like that. You know, talking about, yo, you know, you owe us an album. My friends, but I don't owe you shit. You owe me money. You know what I'm saying? So if you can come up with the rest of this dough, then we can come up with the rest of the album.
It gets even darker. Craig reportedly received life threats and had a few close calls on the streets. His decision to walk away wasn't just about his principles, it was about survival. Craig Mack vanished from the spotlight for years, only to resurface in a video from the Overcomer Ministry, a controversial Christian group based in South Carolina that some label a cult.
Ever notice how a lot of ex-bad boy artists run to some sort of religion afterwards?
What is your name, sir?
My name is Craig Mack.
And what did you used to do when you was in the world?
Wickedness.
Oh, okay. And what are you doing now?
Righteousness.
Whoa, hallelujah.
Fans noticed a big change in Craig in that video. He looked happier, more energetic, like he'd escaped something dark. That's when whispers about the so-called bad boy curse started making the rounds. Why did so many artists leave the label under strange circumstances? Sadly, Craig's health took a turn for the worse over the years. On March 12, 2018, he passed away from heart failure at a hospital near his home in Walterboro, South Carolina.
All right, guys, let's talk about Craig Mack. See, it's messed up enough that Craig Mack started Bad Boy and got them off the ground, but we all know that Diddy and his freak parties, that's what exposed Craig Mack and got him HIV. You know, Diddy was the one who set Craig Mack up with the woman who gave him HIV. You know, they was all, you know, going one after the other, you know, which leads me to believe that all of them might have it, you dig? And if Craig Mack, y'all not familiar with him, man, he caught HIV. He's the one who just made Bad Boy take off, and he died from full-blown AIDS a few years ago living at a coast, South Carolina. But guess what? Diddy was the one who set him up with the chick, you dig? So it's probably safe to say that Diddy, Craig Mack, a whole lot of these people are sharing diseases and swapping bodily fluids because you have not heard a mention of a condom. Long live Craig Mack. Down with Diddy, man. Y'all need to make better decisions out here.
Now let's talk about Maze. Everyone believed he was set to dominate both rap and R&B. Diddy once said, "We don't want talent at Bad Boy," but Maze seemed to be the exception. So imagine the shock when this chart-topping artist suddenly became a pastor. A 19-year-old rap superstar turning into a minister? People were confused. In 1999, Maze, whose real name is Mason Betha, dropped a bombshell. He announced he was leaving Bad Boy to start Sane Ministries, an acronym for Saving a Nation Endangered. He claimed to have had a life-changing experience with God and started calling himself Minister Maze. He told people he felt like he'd been leading fans down a path to hell.
I came to Puff with those songs.
Done.
People, they never give me credit for that. All my awards went to Puff. I wrote all those songs. If you knew that Mace was the one doing all of that, you would see me in a different light. Even today, people praise Bad Boy. The real golden era of Bad Boy, I was spearheading. I'm being number 2 on my own intelligence.
At the height of his fame while promoting Harlem World, Mace confessed during a radio interview, "I had a lot of money, but I didn't really know who I was." But not everyone bought into the story. Diddy wasn't exactly known for letting artists just walk away from their contracts, and Mace leaving after 5 years reportedly without royalties. That raised plenty of questions. Mace made a comeback with Welcome Back under Bad Boy Records, but the drama continued. He publicly confronted Diddy, demanding release from his contract, and later accused him of exploiting artists. In 2016, after briefly rejoining a Bad Boy tour, Mace spoke out saying, "Seeing the pain of others at Bad Boy motivates me to speak up."
I knew about the butt plug fetishes because I saw that with my own eyes. I knew about him and Kim being swingers with other people, whether it was another male or another woman or a male and a woman together. All these stories has been around the industry for a long time. All these industry people know that Diddy been acting like this and doing this and try to engage other men with him. Man, it's a lot of stuff that Mace and Usher know that they ain't telling about Diddy. There's a lot of stuff that they know. Can you imagine, bro? Can you really imagine?
Tensions escalated after Diddy's Grammy speech on hip-hop's lack of respect. Mace fired back on Instagram, accusing him of shady business practices and starving artists. He claimed he wasn't properly paid for writing some of Bad Boy's biggest hits, criticized the lack of publishing rights, and even mocked Diddy's Brother Love rebranding in his lyrics.
You're not paying me and you're not respecting me. And that's the real problem.
All right.
And that's just the beginning.
All right,
then there's people that try to do bodily harm with me. They will be in the house with Puff. So I'm like, it's a funny game y'all playing behind the scenes. So when people see me, they just see me turned up. They just see me agitated. They just see me aggressive, but they don't know why. So if somebody, let's just say we run down on Gilly car, if we got guns or whatever, where we got them, and we trap Gilly, and then the next week you see Wallow with me at your house, how are you gonna feel?
Yeah, I'm snapping out.
You tweaking, right? So now my head is bugging, like what's really going on?
The Lox had their own Bad Boy story too. Discovered by Mary J. Blige, they found fame after appearing on It's All About the Benjamins. Reflecting on their breakout, one member said, "We just spit and it happened." Then the trouble started. After their 1998 album, Money, Power, and Respect flopped, following Biggie's passing, the Lox became frustrated with Diddy's new direction. He had shifted to a more mainstream sound, leaving their hardcore street style behind. One member even described Diddy as someone who always had something crazy to say every single day. The Lox started collaborating with Rough Riders, DMX's label, and they felt more at home there. They admitted DMX had already been a star in Yonkers long before his albums dropped. But Diddy wasn't letting them go that easily. He kept them locked into their contract, forcing the group to start the Free the Lox campaign. While it helped raise awareness, they later admitted the situation was something they should have handled better. In 1999, they made a bold statement at Hot 97's Summer Jam, showing up in Let the Lox Go t-shirts. Things got so heated that someone even threw a chair at Diddy. That seemed to be the breaking point. Shortly after, Diddy let them go, and the Lox signed with Rough Riders, finally breaking free. Here's the real tea. The Lox wanted their publishing rights back, and they didn't hold back when exposing Diddy. They revealed that while Diddy claimed to own only 20% of their publishing and had earned $400,000 from them, the reality was he owned a whopping 50%. Jada Kiss and Styles P didn't mince words. They exposed the control Diddy had over their careers, explaining that once they decided to go against him, he had the power to block them from releasing music. They admitted their only leverage at the time came from their credibility in the streets.
When we had this situation, we knew that we couldn't win financially. Litigation, the pennies we had would have been gone after 2 court days. We sat down like, this could go all wrong. The only power we got is the street. We gonna take this route, risk it all. We gonna do it together. We pushed the button through the grace of God, the streets. Shout out to Diddy. He could have played much harder ball. We was young whippersnappers. Once we decided to go against him, he had the power to block us from ever putting a song out. We didn't have no leverage. Just know it could go all the way back. Yeah. Rough Riders is our manager. They like, y'all gotta decide. And then we'll back y'all. We went in there. He don't have his money, power, connections. He'd have nothing but the street.
What is that conversation like as a group?
We were so young, he just didn't care. We
Like, you
didn't
could get it
realize
back,
what
you'll
we
figure
were
it- okay.
jeopardizing.
Now, would you do it
If
differently?
we had to do it now, we'd do it different. We could have reached out and talked to him.
And guess what? Y'all wouldn't have got what
Wouldn't have
y'all
worked.
wanted.
That's a
It
fact.
wouldn't have worked. Then you
Wouldn't have
just, y'all made the right decision.
The group brought out receipts, actual court documents, and spilled it all. They explained how frustrating it was, saying it felt like working hard for years only to have someone uninvolved take the biggest cut. Now, let's pivot back to Diddy and Mary J. Blige. While Diddy's friendship with Jay-Z might seem solid, his bond with Mary runs even deeper. They've known each other since the early 90s, collaborating on her debut album. Diddy has never stopped praising her, crediting her for empowering women to speak their truth, and crowned her the queen of hip-hop soul.
Mary J. Blige is being talked about a lot. She got her start with Diddy, and then I think there's some quotes where she talks about how she saw the devil, and obviously we all know that she's sober now, but she went through some really low times.
But it hasn't all been smooth sailing. In the late 90s and early 2000s, Diddy and Mary's relationship hit a rocky patch. They had a messy feud that dragged on for years, making many wonder if they'd ever make peace. Eventually, Mary admitted that her own struggles and lack of business knowledge contributed to the fallout. She explained that during that time she was in a bad place, and it made sense why Diddy focused on his label and distanced himself. Thankfully, they were able to patch things up until recently. With Diddy facing serious legal troubles, Mary seems to have drawn a line. She even posted a cryptic message on Instagram saying, "I burn bridges as needed." This didn't surprise many, especially with Diddy now facing RICO charges. For years, rumors have swirled about Mary's experiences with Diddy. Some alleged he was physically harsh and pressured her into uncomfortable situations, including the use of intimate items against her will. There are also claims that he got her pregnant and then pressured her into ending it, a decision believed to have influenced her choice not to have children. Despite these dark claims, Mary stayed close to Diddy for a long time, but eventually something changed. Meek Mill hinted that her decision to separate herself might have stemmed from the questionable activity she witnessed at Diddy's infamous parties. One such story involves her relationship with singer Danny Boy. At the time,
now that Diddy is facing a ton of legal issues, social media users are resurfacing videos of everyone associated with the bad boy producer. Former Death Row recording artist Danny Boy went viral a couple of years ago when he revealed he was 16 when he began messing with Mary J. Blige, who was 24 at the time. Danny Boy recalled Suge Knight telling him Mary wanted to see him. Once Danny Boy met up with Mary J. Blige, the rest was history. The former singer says Mary continued to fly him out to see her. Around the same time, Danny Boy was working with Casey, which led to the singer firing him.
At the time, Mary was 24 and Danny was only 16. He recently revealed that their first encounter happened after the 1995 Source Awards. At a party, someone told him a woman wanted to meet him. When he entered the room, he found himself alone with Mary and Diddy's baby mama, Misa Hilton.
All you was in New York for the Source Awards. That's the first time you met Mary J. Blige and Puff Daddy baby mama Misa, right?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I met after the award show, we went up to the room. I forgot what hotel that it was. But Suge would always have the biggest room in the damn building, the presidential suite. And I was in the room and Suge called me. He said, "Come upstairs for a minute." And my god brother was there with me. He said, "Come up by yourself." So when he said that, it's either it's another girl upstairs for me, or somebody probably finna get their ass upstairs, something. I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, oh man, here we go. I get up to the room and it's a table full of girls sitting around the table. And they all eating, everybody eating, and they order.
Danny Boy recently spilled some major tea about his past with Mary J. Blige. He shared that she was very flirtatious with him, even getting touchy during their first encounter. According to him, things escalated quickly. She rested her head in his lap, and one thing led to another. Their connection turned into a full-blown affair, with Mary even flying him out to New York for secret meetups. Danny believed he was her boyfriend, though rumors suggest she was also seeing Tupac at the time.
Around her. And Mary's sitting on the couch. So I know the girl that he in the bed with don't want me. So I went in, he closed the door and shit, and I sit down and I start talking to Mary. And the inside, I'm about to lose it, because I'm actually sitting here talking to Mary. She's sitting on the couch and shit, and we ordered some food and some more drinks. And somebody knocked on the window, knocked on the door. She ran and kind of damn near jumped behind the couch hiding. But I'm looking like, what your problem is? And she, make sure that's not Kay. Kay?
You was messing around with Mary J. Blige before Tupac, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So
unless he messed with her back before he went to jail.
So when did Tupac come in the picture?
Pac came in the picture a little bit after the Source Awards.
Mary's party life was no secret either. She was often spotted having a great time at Diddy's legendary gatherings. But when word got out that the feds were investigating Diddy and might uncover what really went on at those parties, Mary didn't stick around. She quickly separated herself, leaving many to wonder what secret she was trying to protect. But what are your thoughts on all this? Let us know your theories in the comments. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this.